Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Alex Teaches CAD to Engineering 107 students. Today we'll be going over homework 6 for Dr. De La Barre's Engineering 107 section, so let's just get started. Going into this, I am assuming you have watched videos 1 through 4, so make sure you go back and watch episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, because if you did not watch those, and follow along, you're going to be kind of confused going forward. Actually, you're going to be very confused because you don't even know where to start. So, obviously, the first thing we're going to do to start on homework 6 is we're going to go up to Onshape and create a new document. I'm just going to title it homework 6 and hit enter. And so, we have to decide on what object we're going to make. I've decided I'm going to make a chair because a chair is a pretty simple example that I've shown to different sections of Engineering 107 so far. So if we think about it, what goes into a very simple chair? Well, I'm going to need 4 legs. I'm going to need a kind of like base to sit on, and I'm going to need a backing. So that's going to be my 3 different parts. I'm going to have legs, a seat, and a backing. So let's just get started. I'm going to start here in my part studio. And I'm going to go up and hit sketch, and I'm going to start making my legs. So I'm going to start by sketching on the top workspace. Click on that, and I'm going to hit top on my view cube so I can look straight on. And a leg is just a long rectangle, a very long rectangular prism. I'm going to go up here to the rectangle function, feature, whatever, thing on my toolbar, the rectangle tool. That's what I was trying to say. Click on the rectangle tool. Click on the origin and bring out a rectangle. I'm then going to go up here to the dimension tool, and I'm going to dimension these because I want them to be exact. So I want you to be 2 inches, and I want you to be 2 inches. This was all covered in episode 2. So if you are confused already, make sure you go back and rewatch episode 2. So that's the sketch I want to make. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to rotate kind of to get an angled viewpoint. And I'm going to go up to the extrude button. I'm going to click on the part that I want to extrude. And let's say we want to extrude it, I don't know. Let's say we want to extrude a foot, 12 inches. And I'm going to hit OK. Now if I look at it on the view cube, that's what I made. It's a stool leg. I'm going to rename this part down here. If I right click, I can rename it to chair leg. Simple as that. I'm also going to change the color because I don't really like the color of that. Right click, edit appearance. I'm going to give it kind of a dark brown color. There we go. Okay, cool. And I'm going to, just for ease of use later, I'm going to throw both of these into a folder. If I right click on both of those, I could combine them into a folder and title it leg. So everything stays nice and organized. Okay, so I have a leg. I'm going to hide this for now just by clicking on the eye icon. I'm going to start a seat. And the seat, I just want to be a very simple, basically a square. Wide square that's not too thick. So I'm going to start a new sketch. I'm going to hit the top plane again. Hit top up here. I hit the corner rectangle button. You can actually drop down and hit center point rectangle. I'm going to click on the origin. I'm going to just bring out a square. Again, I'm going to go up to dimensions, click on the side, and I'm going to make this, I don't know, let's say 10 inches. 10 inches, if I zoom out a little bit, I can make the other side 10 inches. Now we have 10 by 10 square. Again, I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to extrude you by 1 inch. Now I'm going pretty fast here because, again, I assumed you all have gone through episodes 1 through 4. If you have gone through episodes 1 through 4 and followed along and understood what I've done in all of those episodes, this should all be getting pretty fast now. Though you might want to slow down the video and rewatch everything I do a few times. Alright, so now we have our base. I'm going to rename it chair seat. Again, I'm going to recolor it because I want it to be like a nice mahogany or a nice wood color. I'm going to throw both of these sketches and extrusions into their own folder. Sorry, can see, speak there. And I'm going to hide that again. So that's, those are the 2 main things I need to make a stool. Let's make a backing. Now I want to make a kind of a fancy backing. And this is how you might get extra points for your assignment, doing a little bit of extra work rather than making squares and circles. If you wanted to make something a little bit fancier. So I'm thinking about a chair. I'm thinking of the backing almost having like spokes in it. So it's not just a solid backing like the chair I'm sitting in right now, but it's kind of like I'm trying. Let me just show you what I'm thinking. That's the great thing about CAD is I could visualize ideas that I have in my head. So I'm going to start with a rectangle. Hit corner rectangle. Start at the origin, and I'm going to make the backing. Obviously, it needs to sit on the seat. So the bottom over here, if I go up to the dimension tool, the bottom needs to be 10 inches. And let's make the side, I don't know, 15 inches. So that's going to be my backing. Now I want it to be almost like zebra stripes. So there's like a bit of wood here, then there's an air gap, and then a bit of wood, and then air gap, then a bit of wood, then air gap, so on and so forth. So I want to do is I basically want to add lines and cut out areas where I don't want wood. So there's multiple ways to do this. There's theoretically infinite. If you just want to use the line tool, you can. I'm going to start by using the rectangle tool again. And you'll see what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to sketch a rectangle inside this rectangle that I've already made. Because I want this entire outside of the backing to be solid wood. I don't want any air gaps over here. So if I sketch down a rectangle inside my already placed down rectangle, and then I go up here to the dimension tool and dimension this inwards a little bit, let's say an inch on each edge, I can have a rectangle that is 1 inch smaller, basically, inside the outer frame. So let me finish up the sketch here and extrude to show you all what I'm trying to do. So if I extrude this, you can see this is my backing. But now what I want is I want to add some wood strips in the middle of it. So what I could go and do is I could go back into my sketch, if I double click my sketch, and I could start adding lines. So what I might want to do is I might add a line going from here to here. If I hit L on my keyboard, I could easily get back to the line tool. Here to here. And let's add one more line going straight down, and a line going straight up. After every time I place down a line, it automatically wants to start a new line, so I just hit escape on my keyboard to prevent that. And there we go. Now I could use the dimension tool by hitting D on my keyboard, and I could start dimensioning these. Let's say I want you all to be exactly 1 inch apart. 2, I want you to be 1 inch apart. And let's say I want you to be an inch from this edge, and I want you to be an inch from this edge. That actually seems like a little too close of a gap. Let's make you 2 inches. See how you look. Yeah, that looks good enough. And I mean, I'm making it, so it's whatever decision I come to that decides whether it's good or not. I'm gonna hit sketch, and you'll notice nothing actually happened to my part. I have to go in here and actually fix the extrusion. So if I double click on extrude, I could click inside those 2 extra rectangles, those 2 lines that I made, and I'm gonna hit OK. And so there's what my backing kind of looks like. Again, I'm going to rename it. Rename it chair backing. I'm going to throw these into a folder again, so I do not forget which sketch belongs to which. And I'm going to edit the appearance. And there it is. Now I have all 3 of my parts. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the assembly, and I'm going to go up to insert, and I'm going to start inserting in all the pieces. So what do I need? I need 1 chair back. I need 1 chair seat. And I need 4 chair legs. So I'm going to click on chair leg 4 times. And it only looks like I have 1 here, but there's actually 4 because they're all stacked inside of each other. I'm going to hit OK. And now all my parts are placed down. So if you notice, if I click and drag on the chair legs, you'll notice they all come out because they were all stacked inside of each other. So it's a common misconception. If you try and place down two things, you might only see one. You might be like, oh, why isn't it inserting another part? It's just because they're hidden inside each other. So now we're going to use the mating tools that we learned in episode 3, and we're going to start mating everything together. So I want all of these to go in the corners underneath the seat. I want all of the chair legs to go over in the corners. So I'm going to mate using the corners. If I go up here to fasten mate, I could zoom in on my chair leg. Let's do this upper right corner. So I'm going to click on the upper right corner. If I look over here at the bottom of the chair, I'm going to hit the upper right corner on the chair. And boom, it's instantly going to place those two chair legs, or the chair leg against the chair seat. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to start doing that for all the other pieces. I'm going to do this upper left corner, this piece, rotate down and look at the upper left corner of this seat, and I'm going to hit OK. I do the back left corner here, back left corner over here, and then back right corner, back right corner. Awesome. So now I have all of these pieces together. I'm just going to hit the escape button to get out of the fasten tool. And you can see now my chair legs are all put together. Now the last thing there is to do is to put the backing on the back of the chair, obviously. I'm going to not go to insert, I'm going to go to fasten mate. I'm going to mate the back edge of this guy, the center of the back edge on the bottom of the backing to the back edge of the seat. And I'm going to hit OK. And there I have my chair. It's all done in terms of assembly. And so the last thing there is to do is to now go start a drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the plus arrow or the plus sign down here, go up to create drawing. It's going to ask me which template do I want. I just want to do ANSI D-inch. And it's automatically going to ask me what part I want to insert. So because I have 3 parts in an assembly, I'm going to have to actually make 4 drawings. So what I could do is I could start with my parts, and I'm not going to create a drawing for every single one, but I'm going to show you how to make a drawing just like I did in episode 4. So if you're still confused after this, make sure you go rewatch episode 4. But I could either click on the assembly or I could click on the part. I'm just going to insert the assembly for now. Left click on assembly, and it's instantly going to put an outline of it around my mouse. I'm actually going to change the view scale because it looks kind of small here. I'm going to change the view scale to 1/5. Actually, I'm going to go up a little bit. Scale 1/4. There we go. So now, as it follows around my mouse, I'm going to left click this front view because it automatically orients to front view. My front view always goes down here in the bottom left. And if I bring my mouse up, it's automatically going to give me a projected view because it highlights the projected view tool up here. If I bring my mouse to the upper left, it's going to place down a top view once I left click. Then it's going to highlight the projected view button again. I'm going to click on the front view. I'm going to drag my mouse to the right. It's going to give me a right view. And I'm going to click one more time on the front view and get a projected view of an isometric or orthographic drawing. I'm going to place that up here in the upper right. And there we go. Now, obviously, I have to do the few things like show the shaded view by right-clicking on this guy. You always want to show a shaded view of your isometric viewpoint. You want to start adding in your dimensions. If I go up here to the dimension tool, there it is. I lost track of it. Dimension tool, you want to add in all of the relevant dimensions to your part to allow someone who wanted to recreate your part perfectly what are all the dimensions they would need. So it's important not to over-dimension, but it's also important that you don't under-dimension. And I'm just going to place down a few examples here of what you're looking for when you dimension. You're going to dimension on all viewpoints. And so if there's like a dimension that is shown, here as well as here, such as thickness of the seat, you could do it on either. You don't want to do it on both, but you could do it on either one. Just do some chair legs. Like I wouldn't want to dimension height here because I've already dimensioned the height here. And obviously these two heights are going to be the same. I could do chair-like height because I did not do that on the left view. I also do back height. And so that's it. Again, you're going to want to go down here and add in all of your information. Double-clicking this, you could type in homework. I spelled homework wrong. Of course I did. Homework. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Homework 6. Your name should already be over here, but it would be wise to include your name again. You might want to put your section of Engineering 107. Hit OK, and then make sure you export it properly as a PDF. So you want to go down here, right-click, hit Export as a PDF. Name it whatever you need to name it, and you're going to hit Export. And then after a few seconds, it will automatically download into your Downloads folder. And so that's it. If you have any other questions, make sure you come to my office hours. They are Mondays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 12 to 1. They are hosted on Blackboard Collaborate. The link is already in your Blackboard, so just go into Blackboard. It should be under TA office hours or CAD office hours. Also, feel free to shoot me an email. My email should be in your syllabus. It's also in the presentation in episode 1. I'm always available to help you out. So please shoot me an email if you're struggling or having questions. Other than that, hope to see you all soon. Hey everyone, I just want to make a quick addendum to the video. I'm recording this post making the video you just watched. As I mentioned, you need to make a drawing of all, not only your assembly, but all of your parts as well. So I'm going to just demonstrate that really quickly. As you go through, you want to, first of all, once you make your main assembly and dimension all of it as needed, you're going to create a second drawing. You're going to use the same template. And once this loads, you're going to go over to insert and you're going to insert each of the parts you made. So I'm going to start with the backing, place down the front view, top view, side view, and orthographic, or isometric, sorry. And I'm going to do all of the exact same things you saw me do in just a few seconds ago. Show the shaded view. I'm gonna, add all of the dimensions I need for the different parts, such as their heights, their thicknesses, their lengths, stuff like that. Okay, go down to the bottom and make sure you have all of your information down here, such as, I might want to label this part 1, chair back, and I'm gonna hit OK. And obviously I did not add all of my dimensions, but you all will need to add dimensions to make sure everything's appropriate. Then again, you're going to go in, you're going to create a second drawing, or actually a third drawing. You're going to want to, again, insert the other parts that you have not made drawings of. So I'm going to do chair leg. Obviously a chair leg is basic. This was just a rectangle, so it's a very easy part to make a drawing of. Front, top, side, and the front and the side are actually going to be the same viewpoints, and then orthographic, metric. I keep using those words interchangeably. I'm not using them correctly. Show shaded view. Again, make sure you dimension everything appropriately. It's actually a redundant measurement right there. And again, I could go down here and I could rename this. Click on that. I could rename this Engineering 107 chair leg part 2, whatever. And then I need to create my third part, which is a third drawing. And I'm going to do the chair seat, which again, very simple. Front, top, isometric, or right, which is the same as the front in this case, and then isometric. Graphic, dang it, I keep saying it wrong. I'm gonna drag you down a little bit and make you a shaded view. More time, I'm gonna add dimension to each of these. Thickness, I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna rename that. That's my final part. And this is part 3, shared seat, or chair bottom. Cool, so once I have all of these done and looking nice, filled out with all the proper information, all of your dimensions are included, you're just gonna wanna hit export on every single one. Export, and you're gonna make sure you export as a PDF, and you're just gonna download all of these. And that these 4 or more PDFs, depending on how many parts you have. I think the minimum requirement is 3 parts and an assembly, so minimum you should have 4 drawings. And you know, if you have more parts, then you're going to need more drawings and submit all of those. But those are what you're going to be turning into your assignment. Again, if you have any questions, come visit my office hours.